Hey, welcome to DGNN and Crypto Corner Sat Stacker for Saturday, October 4th, beginning Uptober or Pumptober, however you want to put it. This is the first one of these in the fourth quarter of the year. So yeah, pretty exciting. And yeah, before I get into the nitty gritty, the different levels, the charts, all of that, wanted to give a brief overview of my thesis here. And, there are going to be links in the description of this video to these other videos that I reference, including basically the basis of my thesis, which is this Happy ETHster video, did come out on ETHster on 420. There's the, URL right there, but again, link in the description of this video. I laid out in that video the chart that is in the background, confluence of levels over here around 1400, and thinking that price based on these highs could be going up to 8,000, if not possibly higher, by the end of 2025. And so that is, again, the basis of my thesis, following along with ETH and noticing all of these bearish memes. And then eventually, they did start to shift to be bullish. And also in the description of this video is going to be a link to my most recent Crypto Corner Sat Stacker, where I did kind of a deeper dive into my thesis as far as how I'm managing risk, all of that. So you can check that out down below. And then also just, a week and a half ago, I put out this video on Ethereum. It's about 4 minutes long. It is basically a renewal of my thesis from ETHster, and that, I think ETH just hit a pretty important bottom, and following that we will be rallying a lot. And so all of that is linked down below. And another thing that is going to be a link down below right here, you probably can't see it, but that is a poll that I just put up on the channel. Nobody's voted in it yet. And so this poll, since I have been live streaming for after hours updates, and then next week I will be doing market hours updates. You can also vote in that poll if you like. But for next Saturday, I've had this idea, but didn't really want to implement it just because live streaming is a little bit more of a pain than just recording a video. But here's this poll that, I'm asking, should I live stream Crypto Corner Sat Stackers moving forward? And so with that, I won't actively be checking the chat, but it will be open. So if you guys want to watch this, you can chat amongst yourselves to share ideas. But I will also, consider, if I get a super chat, I'll respond to that. And these do, as you might be aware, tend to run about 2 hours long. And kind of the benefit of me doing it live rather than pre-recorded, whether or not you want to engage in the chat, the release time would just be earlier. So if I do it live, it could be coming out starting as early as 9:30 in the morning Eastern, or, another option would be 10 a.m. Eastern, just because, that's around the time I start recording these. And so I could just be doing it live for you guys. You can be enjoying, waking up, having the coffee while watching this. Or if I just continue to do video releases, they will be released approximately 1 p.m. Eastern. So just some thoughts there. Wanted to share that as an option because for me personally, the thing I really like to do on Saturdays is wake up and watch videos as I have coffee, but I can't do that on Saturdays because I make these videos. But yeah, if you want to join me effectively for them, I could definitely do that for you guys. But coming back to here, since I have addressed that, let's move over to the table. Just going to go over some brief highlights from the week, and that is virtually all of the orders that I had placed were filled. The only one that was not filled was this $18 dip buy for Ethereum Classic. We did hit $18, as you can see there in yellow, but because of the spread, the order wasn't filled. So I think that's kind of an important aspect to consider, that spreads, are important. But I did do the normal daily DCAs for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then I also did some daily DCAs. These should actually have, let's see, because they're not daily DCAs. So I should do something, like this, editing this on the fly effectively, but this should be 100, and that's right there. And so there's that with Robinhood. I did do the $100 buy, dip buy effectively, because I got RLC and I wanted Doge to be higher than RLC on this list. And so whenever I buy RLC, I'm going to buy the same amount in Doge. Also did LRC or Loopring, and then down here with Fartcoin, which, I need to start trimming that pretty soon because it's too high up on the list considering how stupid it is. But I did also do Solana and AVAX, $100 total over the course of the week. It's about $14.28 per day. For Solana, very interesting, I did exactly $100 addition. AVAX was slightly above that, I believe, maybe 40 cents or something above. And then all of these additions down here, which you actually can't really see the numbers there because I'm blocking them, but these very small daily dollar cost averaging there. And yeah, I mean, the only things that really stand out to me is, to be honest, nothing really with these numbers, just that, I'm excited. I think that, Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be hitting new all-time highs very soon. I think that this fourth quarter, Uptober, Pumptober, to be followed by, I forget what, Bullvember. No, I think it's Bullcember. I forget what November is, but whatever. I think that we're going to be going up a lot more, so I'm excited about that. But considering that I'm really excited now, what I've noticed with these videos, these crypto corner sat stackers, is whenever things are up one week, they tend to be kind of back the next week. It kind of tends to go back and forth. So I would not be surprised if we do get a little bit of a pullback over the next week, before then the following week we get a rip your face off rally to new all-time highs. But anyways, with that said, speaking about all-time highs, let's talk about Bitcoin, ticker symbol BTC. As we all know, let's check out that market cap data. I suspect it will be up from last week. And so we can see here Bitcoin, of course, the number one on coin market cap, $2.4 trillion market cap. And let's just see, this has to be up from last week. Yeah, of course. Last week, the market cap for Bitcoin was $2.18 trillion. Now it's 2.4 trillion. So, that is great, looking good there. And then if we do look over at the Bitcoin chart, just going to remove the drawing so it's not so cluttered. And looking at the closing price for Friday, October 3rd, that was at 122,318.40. 122,318.40. And so there we go. Looks like in my position with this $40 daily dollar cost averaging, I am up about 26% in my position with an average around $97,000. So feeling good about that. Although, of course, I wish I would have been buying more aggressively earlier, but that's the same for everybody. Everybody feels the exact same way. And what I am going to be doing moving forward for the next week is just, the continuation of the $40 daily DCAs using Strike. Links to all of these exchanges are down below in the description. If you open an account and fund it, we both get a little bit of something, but no pressure. Just sharing what I'm using. And as far as storage, all of these coins, with the exception of one, which is going to be Avalanche, and that actually I believe is Core is their native wallet. But I do store these on my Trezor hardware wallets. I have two. One is the Trezor 1. The other is the Trezor Safe 3. And so that's their website if you want to get a hardware wallet. They do tend to have sales maybe once every quarter, where you can get 30% off, something like that. But yeah, link right there, Trezor.io. I don't get anything for that, but, just sharing what I'm doing. And yeah, so the $40 daily DCAs for Bitcoin, probably in about 2 weeks, I'll have hit my Bitcoin target position size. And so I'll reduce the daily DCAs to either $5 or $10. I suspect $5, but maybe if it's pulling back, I'd do an additional 5 or 10 or something like that. But yeah, let's, now that I got all that out of the way, let's look at the chart and consider the support that I had here at 108 and the resistance around 135. And let's check that out. So over here, what was the low? It was, let's see, 108,623.70. That was hit Thursday, September 25th. So not this past week, but the week before. Very close to that level that I had talked about, also putting in a higher low. So I think that's a good look. And while the volume is not super exceptional, volume has been going up since we were at the bottom here up to the top here. So I think that's good. You know, what we want to see now is just volume kind of pull back a little bit if this is to consolidate, excuse me, and then we launch up to new all-time highs. And so far, the all-time high is $124,533, according to the data on Coinbase. And this is from August 14th. But yeah, I'm just going to throw up the drawings here. Might be a little bit cluttered. And this is actually something that I have gone over during the after hours updates. I'll probably also go over it during market hours updates next week. So if you do want updates on Bitcoin and Ethereum, I do tend to include them in those. So make sure you check those out. But yeah, what we have here. So last Saturday, let's see, where were we at? We were down here, and we've, just gone up, broken above that 50 SMA around 114, broken above that orange trend line and the red trend line. And we can see that if we do go back in time, both of these levels, those lines intersected with the tops from 2024, the late 2024 and early 25 there. And let's see, over here, the red line originates from the tippy top of November 2021, and the orange goes back to the highs from December 2017, intersecting with the tops over here. And so, yeah, that's kind of how you get those levels, and we are above all of them. And if we actually look over here, the highs from 2024 into early 2025, the red line was resistance there. Double top got rejected there. We did get kind of a fake out break above double top here. And now we're back above. So now the big question is, are we going to hold above those levels and then really take off to the upside? And so I suspect that we will, but there might be a little bit of a retracement. And so a level that stands out to me is actually going to be the high from September 18th. And that was at $117,998.17. So I am just going to put a horizontal ray based on that exact same price. I'm just going to lock it over here, and then I will adjust that price to be 117,998, 117,998.98. And then was that 17? Is that what I said? Yes. Okay, so that is the exact top there. So we could be pulling back to that level. If we do that soon, we'd have to do it like right now, basically, for it to correspond with the top of, or that red trend line. If we do it later, it could correspond with the orange uptrend. That would be, around, like I said, 118. And that would be right around the middle of December. So maybe we go higher and then pull back to retest that. So that's a possibility. If we pull back to just test this red uptrend, maybe by Monday or something, I think that will be around 119. But let's also, since we are making this move to the upside, let's do a little Fibonacci retracement here, going from the low 108,623. So I'm just going to try to make this a little closer to that. And so we got that there, and then going up to the high here. And, this is just approximate. I can't make it perfect, but that, yellow line, I was wondering if it corresponded with one of these fib levels, and it actually does. That is going to be the, the 382, right around 118. And so with Bitcoin, while I think that we are going to be making new all-time highs in this quarter, I think we could be seeing a retest of 118, if not coming down to like this 50% retracement, which is going to be around 116 and also potentially corresponding with that orange uptrend. But for now, I'm going to say 118. I think that is going to be kind of the pullback level for Bitcoin. So 118, I'm just going to adjust the 1 over here. And so we do have that. I don't plan on, buying and placing a limit dip buy. Once I get my full Bitcoin position, the size that I want it to be, then I'd probably start placing limit dip buys at support levels, or levels that I see as support. But as of right now, I'm not going to do that. So that's why it's red, as you can see with the key here. But I am going to highlight the alert over here because I do need to adjust that. Don't need to worry about orders though. And then let's consider, 135. That's probably not going to be any different than it was before. And I'm actually going to have to drag this so we can see, why 135. We've got kind of, approximate confluence of these Fibonacci retracements up here from like 133 up to like 136. So that's why I have 135. And I'm not really going to dive into that in any greater detail because I think that is fine. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it alone. And let's see, one thing that, I don't like about doing this is highlighting the backgrounds. And so I might just do, since I have that yellow, no, I think I will actually leave that because I was thinking, I make this yellow, but I'm not placing an order there. That's going to be red, so I'll just leave that. But yellow, corresponding with actually that not being filled. Anyways, too many tangents. Let's continue on to the next one, which is going to be Ethereum, ticker symbol ETH. As we all know, let's check out the market cap for ETH, and coming over here, that is, of course, going to be the number 2 at a market cap of over $500 billion. I believe last week it was less than that, so we'll have to check in 1 second. So it was lower last week, and if we do look, yeah, it was less than $500 billion. So looking pretty good there, getting up there. ETH, very exciting. And now let's come over to the chart. And the first one that I have up here is, my thesis, my renewed thesis, the trend line. So I'd encourage you to check out that video. I'm not going to go over it here, although I do think it's just really cool, confluence, the little arrows. I think I was spot on again, so I'm excited about that. So go check out that video linked down below. And then let's see, Ethereum over here, the Coinbase data, that's what I want to use for that close. Just going to remove the drawing so we don't have so much clutter right now. October 3rd closed at 4,515.86, 4515.86. 4515.86, and that is of course up, and we got a good luck number there. I am up 69% in my position with an average cost of just below $2,700, just doing the very boring, very unexciting $40 daily DCA on ETH, and I'm just going to make that white because I'm going to continue to do that. And I wouldn't really consider to stop doing that until either price gets to new all-time highs, breaks into 5,000 or maybe 6,000, and then I'd either reduce that 40 or I just turn it off. But I don't really plan to start selling until 8,000, but maybe I'd consider it around 6,000. You got to adapt the plan if things don't go according to what you expect. And so that's effectively what I would be doing. But yeah, the support levels that I saw for ETH was around 3,800 and the resistance around 5,400. So let's check out the chart and see, what was the low over here on September 25th. That was about a week and a couple days ago. The low there was 38.25. So I was pretty spot on there, $25 off. And so you got to factor in not only the levels might not be hit to the penny or to the dollar or to the quarter of $100, and or percentage wise, you got to have a margin of error there also, and then spreads. So I think that was a pretty spot on support level, 3,800. And we are now above the 50-day simple moving average, which is around 40. sorry, $4,400, and currently at 4,500. So looking great there. I'm just going to bring back all these drawings that I have over here, and let's see, what am I thinking about with this? We got this trend channel here, and let's just actually extend this. This is going to be kind of approximate, but yeah, let's extend this over to here. And it kind of looks like we, approximately, retested the top of that, found that as support, and then bounced higher. So I think that's, a good look. Also, though, maybe what is perhaps more useful than what I have drawn here is if I adjust this to be like that. And so that actually seems more compelling, a little more robust than what I had here. And so, yeah, let's just adjust that to be, we're at the top of this channel, and we could be breaking out very, very soon. And actually, I might want to adjust this a little bit more. This is like we're being a little OCD, perfectionist, is detrimental because this doesn't really matter too much. But I just want to, the lows here come down to that thicker line. This does pierce the 10% above that. That's the thinner white line, but not coming down all the way to the thick line. And then up here at the top, we do have some tests of that 10% range there. And the midpoint, we spent a lot of time there. So now with Ethereum, will be very interesting to see if we can break out above, get to, I said 5,400. I'll look at that in a minute. But let's just look, let's see, shorter time frame, or, how do I want to do this? So with this, that I have here, just kind of approximate, we did, find some support right around that, let's see, is that the 382 at around 3,900? 3,900 or 3,800 plus or minus, and that also does correspond with this, I guess, trend line that I have drawn here. Kind of got some pierces of that, but we did pull back and retest that. So yeah, I think that the levels that we did just recently hit, as outlined in my thesis renewal, very important levels. We did bounce there. We did find support. So I think that's just looking great. But if this is to pull back, where do I think it could be pulling back to? In all honesty, like the midpoint of that channel, I could see it doing something like this, kind of shake, well, actually maybe, consolidate over the weekend, then maybe dump into the week, panic people. Oh, that was it. Top is in. And then we get a breakout above and something like that. So that's kind of what I could see happening, but I could, of course, be wrong about that. But if we do get a pullback there, let's see how that corresponds with Fibonacci levels. And we can see that would be right around the 618. And so I'm going to actually round this up also because I'm an idiot and we got to have fun with our numbers. 4,127. I'm going to round that up to 4,200 because then it includes a 420. And so that is going to be the revised dip level for Ethereum. And the resistance, let's check that out now. Ooh, and I need to make this yellow. I need to adjust that alert. But yeah, the resistance, 5,400. Where did I get that? Because I just see like this 5,200, a little bit lower than that. What is that based on? Okay, so that is, I think that I kind of need to delete this because we didn't really go up there. I don't think, what we could do is, from the low here up to the top and then this pullback, because this was the low at 1,400. So that seems significant to me. And then, up to the high here before pulling back to this level, renewed thesis, significant as well. This is just a bull flag right here that I have drawn out with that channel. So that's actually pretty cool. I'm excited about that. But coming back over here, what are some of the other levels I had forgotten to note for Bitcoin? I apparently had 104,000, 104,000, but I'm not going to go back and dive into that. Oops, I forgot about that. But yeah, let's see additionals for Ethereum, 3.5 thousand. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. So, well, I'll just leave it though. I'll just leave it. Who cares? And so let's see. What am I thinking? I don't have 51. That's kind of what I wanted to see. But 54, why did I leave that? It seems like maybe I was just lazy or something. But let's, do that. Maybe 54 is, I don't know what it was, to be honest. So let's delete this. Also delete these from the past. We don't need all this clutter. Let's just clean it up. And so from this is going to be like the Fibonacci extension to roll them all. So down here around, and actually I'm probably going to want to lock this into place because all these levels are going to be significant. So I'm just going to approximate them for now. And then I will just drag this over so we could see, let's do this to the end of the year. So I'll adjust that as well. I'll lock it into place and let's just get those points correct. Actually, I need to, what did I do? Okay, so I'm gonna actually redraw that. I kind of screwed some stuff up and because I locked it into place and then it's like, well, I can't see it now. So let's do Fibonacci extension again from the low here around 1400, the high here around 5000, and then the low here around 3800. And so let's get into that, the nitty gritty. Where'd the box go? Yeah, so I'm gonna have to redraw that again. Dang it, I keep screwing this up. So let's see, maybe I'll just do this, pull that up, and I'm not gonna click anywhere. The low here on September 25th was 3825. So I had mentioned that. So that's going to be over here. So 3825. Very good there. Then the high here was 4,955.9, 4955.9, 4955. So 55.9. And then the low over here, which I believe was on the 8th. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to have to hover over these to get them just right. And so let's see the lows. 14437, 138, 326. I think that's the low. Because on the 7th, that was the low for a lot of them, and Ethereum's low was a little bit off. So yeah, 138326, 138326. So 8326, and let's see the coordinates. I'm gonna make this. I'm just gonna go like 350. Goes forward into the future, and then we can kind of see, where that level is. I want to adjust it to the end of the year. That is where I see Ethereum going with my thesis. And excuse me, that should be it. And then I'm going to lock that in place so it doesn't go anywhere. Crap. Just like that, I don't want to move stuff, but that's a fib retracement, not this extension. And so let's just see where that, maybe that's it. Is that the one I just drew? Yep, that's the one I just drew, 350. I want to make that go further into the future. What am I talking about? Or maybe just adjust the axis here. So that's Monday, November 25th. So let's go here. And so let's add, let's see, 30 days. So 380, see where that takes us to now. December 24th. And so that's going to be about 6 more days to get to the 31st. No, 7 more days, I believe. There we go. That's the full year. And so that price target is actually around 7,400. And so that is, interesting. And yeah, let's see over here. I'm just going to delete this crap too because I don't need all this clutter. Although, I think that trend line's pretty cool because it's like, that's when we broke out, really took off there. And yep, I'm going to delete this as well. Don't need all that clutter. So that's where we're at. Actually, no, I do think I want to keep that. But actually, what I might do is, again, from the low here. Sorry, I'm like nerding out on this, but I just, like this stuff. So what was that? Dang it, what was the low there? I don't think this is lining up just right. Yep, okay, so the low there. Let's lock that into place. That is 138326, 138326. And then the high, that should be correct. Yes. And then let's just extend this by, let's see, bring us up to 300. See where that's at. A little too far. So let's do 290 and see where that is. And that does pretty nicely correspond with the bottom there. And so, yeah, just out of curiosity, that did not, I mean, we could see a sweep of the lows down to 3,600, but I don't see that happening. And yeah, so what I'm probably going to do, just for time's sake, is that, I'm not going to adjust this. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to be selling there, so I don't really care. And then these levels, let's see. I did add one that I think is potentially going to be important. And I've got to go over here. That's going to be around 7,400. So I will do, let's see, another one. I'm going to do it orange because it's, like I might want to, trim there. And that's going to be $7.4 thousand. And then because I'm OCD, I'm going to make that comma white. Make this comma white. There we go. And yeah, so those are, kind of the levels, my thoughts with, ETH. And, maybe I'm just thinking maybe I do want to adjust something. Because I could do a fib extension from here. This had moved up, consolidated, and then pulled back. And so I do think that there might be, kind of a valid fib extension from here. So the low here up to this high, and then a pullback. And so I'm just going to do those numbers again. I apologize. But let's see. This will be maybe the target for the end of October. So let's just do October 31st right there. Okay, and so let's get those levels to the penny. All right, so the low over here was, let's see, 2113. And then the high, I should know this by now, but that's 495590, 4955.9. And then this low was 38.25. And so then that should give us, maybe a more reasonable price target. That would be around 6,600. So with that being said, I should probably add that as well over here. But I think really just like the, why does it make the commas orange? I don't like that. This is problems, But yeah, so those are some levels that, maybe I'd consider trimming at, but, 100%, 8, 10, 20, whatever it is, I would be trimming my ETH position up there. And so one thing that I can't do with the stream is pause this, but I'm going to take a sip of coffee and then I'll be right back. I wonder if that edit was smooth. I cut myself off with the back and then I started it again. But anyways, let's continue on to the next one on the list, which is going to be Dogecoin, ticker symbol DOGE, one of our favorites. And let's check out the market cap for Dogecoin. And so over here, ranked number 8, above Cardano, above Chainlink, pretty crazy, but not above Solana. And I don't think it'll be overthrowing Solana. But anyways, let's see, market cap is $37.8 billion. So let's populate that here. I imagine, yep, did go up over the past week. And so last week it was at 34.7 billion. Now it's at 37.8 billion. So looking good there. And then we do come over to the charts. I'm just going to remove the drawing so we're not distracted. And we could see, maybe this is pulling back a little bit, but no big deal. So the close on Friday, October 3rd, was at 25.79. 25.79. Looks like I'm up about 4. Hey, man, this is nothing but good signs, good omens right here. I'm not necessarily superstitious, but I think this stuff is fun. 69. If you cover up like that percentage, that looks like a 420 right there. So good omens right there. I did do the $100 dip buy, and that dip buy was at 23 cents. I had done that 2 weeks in a row with the price now above 23 cents. I feel good about that. Although I think I could have gotten it closer to 22 cents. That's not a big deal. And so what I am going to do here is I am actually going to make this 100 orange. So I know that, maybe I place that, but only if I buy, RLC. So we'll have to evaluate that. But anyways, yeah, my average with Doge is, now it's progressively been getting closer to and above now 18 cents. That's fine. I am feeling all right about it. And let's see, so the dip buy level that I had was 23 cents. Let's evaluate that to see if it could have been lower. And then 33 cents to the upside. And so let's see, what was the low from last week? Actually, the low from over here was 22.08. So even if I had an order at 22 or maybe 22.10, probably wouldn't have gotten a fill there right here. So 23 was good, and we are now above that 50-day simple moving average, that blue line there, which is around 23.87 cents, around 24. So maybe 24 would be the next dip level. But yeah, generally feeling good about my analysis there. And one thing that we can look at with this is, let's see, that we do have this kind of, downtrending line here from the high and getting rejected here. And so maybe we're coming to a point here, coming back down to around 24. And then we could, maybe see a bounce around there. But maybe there's some other levels we also want to consider. And also, since I was cleaning up the ETH chart, I might clean up some of this Doge chart as well. And let's see, those levels here, I think they're kind of harmless. Also, this uptrend, very interesting. Maybe that will be tested again. Maybe we don't go down to 23, though. I think that expecting since we nearly got to 22, I think that, we could still potentially get to 23 again. So that was, let's see, Thursday, September 25th. What was the low from last week? Sunday, so a week ago, the 28th, the low was 23.81. So a 24-cent order there probably would have gotten filled. And I'm actually confused by this. Oh, that was the high. Sorry, that was the high. 22.54. And so that would have been, a fill of 23, which I got. At that point, if it over here, it's like right around 22, but you don't get a fill. And then here it's around 23.50. You probably wouldn't get a fill. And so that on that trend, 22, 22.50, and then 23, you probably wouldn't get a 23 fill. So then I would say 23.50 would be the next level that we might get a retest to. And looking at this Fibonacci retracement, I might do this to the penny just because it looks like I've already done it to the penny. It's locked there. And, though I might want to extend it into the future a little bit. So let's do 310, just to give us some time. And let's see, 2337. I might round that up to 2350. That is where I could see Doge pulling back to and, seeing that as a dip buy level. And so over here for the weeklies, I am going to round this up. And let's see, so that would be 24, but then I'm going to do this. So we have it on there. And so that is an order considering placing. I'm going to make that orange. So I do have that there. And that's all going to depend on what I do with RLC, because I don't necessarily want to be getting my Doge average higher. I think I have enough exposure to what is kind of, a speculative meme coin, although I think that Doge actually has a lot more utility than other memes because it's not a layer 2 or a token on like Ethereum or Solana. It's its own chain. And so I think that's, it's like the idea, this came from Charlie Lee, the founder of Litecoin, is that Bitcoin is gold, Litecoin is silver, and then I could imagine Doge is like copper or something like that, or whatever would be below silver. Maybe it's steel. I don't know. I'd say copper probably. Or bronze. Bronze is, I'm an idiot. Bronze is third place. Doge is bronze. And so thinking about that, 2350, I don't think it's, with this, for ETH, what did I say about ETH? I think that this would actually, I would update that to that. There we go. So one modification there. But yeah, with Doge coming down to 22, I don't really think that's going to happen at this point. And so I might just actually be 22. That'd be like right here. Yeah, maybe we sweep the lows. So yeah, maybe we could sweep the lows, be 22. I think that's fine. 42 would be the next level to the upside. And let's actually think about that. So I've got like 31 up here. Do I have that noted? I actually have it at 33. That's probably going to be based on this fib extension, which I imagine, it's unlocked, so it's approximate. And yeah, but I don't think I need to get too much into the nitty gritty with that. So I'll just leave it 33. Don't plan on trimming there. I'd consider it 69. I guess 83 is the level that I had drawn up there. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I don't need to be diving so much into Doge. I really just got that dip level outline there. So I think that's good. Maybe I'll do a $100 addition, which is all going to depend on the next one on the list, which is iExec, ticker symbol RLC. So let's check out the market cap. Is it still in the 300s? Very curious to see that. So scrolling to the bottom, it is, but barely, $3.99. That's pretty funny. Still up there, just got an ad. Okay, so let's see, 93.6 million about is where it's at. I imagine this went up from last week, as I think everything did, but maybe it didn't. So it's about 94 million. And from last week, it was around 89 million. And so let's check out the price for RLC. Just going to remove the drawing so we're not distracted. And we can see that the close for Friday, October 3rd, was at $1.1243. So $1.1243. And that's up. I'm down about 26% on my position. My average is $1.51. I am going to want to place a limit dip buy on this. So I'm going to make it yellow. And if that gets filled, then I would place an order to dip buy Doge. And yeah, and actually, maybe what I want to do is I'll just place a dip buy to buy Doge. And if that gets filled and the RLC level doesn't get filled, that's fine. I just have a little bit more buffer that I can add to RLC without needing to add it to Doge. And so, yeah, I'm just going to come back over here to the weeklies, and I am going to make that yellow there. So I know I should be placing that. And let's see here. Down 26%. The support level that I had seen was $1 that got filled. And the resistance that I see, or at least the first level of resistance that I would like to be trimming at is, 204 and then 225. And I do have orders placed for all of these to limit sell. That's, $500 worth of risk, but selling in profit. I'd be making some profit with those. And yeah, let's see, look at the chart. If $1 could be retested again, how much lower than $1 we hit. And so over here, this was Thursday, September 25th. We hit a low of 96.82, but that wasn't last week. What was the low from last week? That was hit on Thursday, September 30th. And that was at 99.87 cents. So I got a perfect fill there. Although with the spread and whatever fees from Coinbase, I think my dip buy was actually at like 101, just so you're aware. But yeah, where could this be dipping to next? I don't know that it would be coming back to 1. I think that we could be following this uptrend here as support. And so what we might want to do is just a little Fibonacci retracement, just being kind of approximate here, getting up to from that low to that high. And it looks like 105 is the 618. And that does also correspond with kind of like the consolidation highs here. Got some wicks above, but not really too bad. And actually, let's just see what was the close over here on September 28th. That was at 106. So I could actually see 106, although that's not really much lower than where we're at 108. And yeah, so RLC, I was thinking of Fartcoin's dip level, that where that might be. I thought, make it lower than it's previously been. But yeah, for RLC, I think a dip buy at 105 seems reasonable. So I'm going to adjust this to 105. I'm going to push this over here, and I need to place that order. And with that being said, I forgot to do this over here for Doge. For RLC, need to place those. So 105 would dip by, and then my resistance levels, I could, I'm not going to do it this week, but I could potentially, lower those. And actually, let's consider that. So 204. Where do I get 204? That's from this fib extension, from the low here to the high and then to here. And then I could actually, increase that. So you'll see this orange line here. I'll perhaps do this so you can see it a little bit better. But if I were to move this to the low over here, which would be more proper, that just extends the distance from here to here. That's going to push this one up higher. So just to kind of show you that. So I think that 204 is kind of conservative. It's not too crazy. And that would also be pushing a higher high here than we saw, which was, let's see, a high of 196.37. So yeah, I'm going to leave those levels alone. I'm not too concerned about that. Feel good about that. So let's continue on to the next one, which is going to be Loopring, ticker symbol LRC. Let's check out the market cap for Loopring, ranked 345. I believe this might have been in the 200s. Now it's in the 300s. So it has pulled back some. But let's see, that market cap is around 118 million, just shy of 118 million, but rounding, I think that's going to show as 118 here. Last week, let's see, what was that market cap? 113, so it did go up about $5 million, which is really not that much, but relatively, it's not too bad there. And so LRC, let's just remove those drawings so we're not distracted, and we can check out what the closing price was for Friday, October 3rd. That was at 8.94 cents, so 8.94 cents. That did go up. Looks like I'm down about 5% in my position. I've been kind of accumulating in this, like range and the lows where it's at. So I'm not really, or maybe not, I can't say necessarily see the lows, but around this level. One thing to note, though, we are below that 50 SMA, and just quick comparison with RLC, also below that 50 day simple moving average. So good to note that, but maybe we are consolidating below before a breakout, or maybe we get a retest of this uptrend. And so coming back to here, what are the levels that I saw? 8 cents and 10 cents. And so I do, it looks like, have a limit order to sell at 10 cents, as well as 11, 12, 13, and 14 cents. So the profits there would not be too exciting, but that's really just to manage risk, because LRC is one that's, pretty speculative. Even if I do sell those, it would still be up pretty high on the list. It might be dropping down to here, but still pretty high up. And so let's consider that 8 cents. Do I think it could be pulling back there again? What was the low from the past week? And so let's see over here. This was Sunday, the 28th. The low was 7.97 cents. So it looks like I got a very nice fill there. And do I think we could be pulling back to 8 again? Maybe, but maybe not. And what's my average with LRC? 89 cents. Wait, nope. Sorry, I'm 9.44 cents. So even if it just pulled back to 9 cents, that would be getting my average down. Where is it at now? 9.21. Oh, nope, 8.62 cents. The moving average is at 9.21 cents. So yeah, I could see this pulling back. Maybe we want to do a little micro fib again. Just going from the lows here up to the highs. And the 618 would be around 8.3. 8.5 would be right here. That's just a little bit lower than we are currently at. So I would say let's do 8.4. And let's see over here. And I also, since I adjusted those numbers, I need to do this, just those alerts as well. But yeah, this should be, let's see, 8.4, and that would be like, rounding from 8.420. So I will need to place an order there. The alert, though, will have to be at 8 cents, I believe. So if it was at 8 cents over here, I don't need to, in fact, adjust the alert because that rounds to the nearest penny. It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. I will need to place that order to add some more LRC. And then the levels to the upside, 10 through 14, just me wanting to trim out of my position. But I just to manage risk effectively. And so I'm probably going to just leave those alone. Don't need to be getting into too much stuff. I am going to delete this doodle because that did not happen. I'm also going to delete this retracement because that's old news. And this looks like it is a fib to the downside. And that's probably where I get, around 10 cents, around 11 cents, around 12 cents, the highs here. And could be going up to 13, 14, and so on. So yeah, I'm not going to get into that anymore. I think that's, all that we need for LRC. And then the next one on the list is ticker symbol Ondo, Ondo, ticker symbol ONDO. And the market cap for Ondo, let's check over here. That is going to be kind of disguised, ranked at number 41. And that's just shy of $3 billion, $2.9 billion. I imagine this did go up over the past week. And let's see where it was at last week. 2.8 billion. So went up by around $100 million. Is that right? And let's check out the price for Ondo. Just removing those drawings, pulling back some, getting rejected from that 50 SMA. Very interesting. And the closing price from yesterday was 94327. So 94327. And it looks like I'm up about 6% in my position. And so I would not really consider, buying this until I'm at least 10% down. And the reason for that is because this is a newer coin, a newer layer 2 on Ethereum that, I think is a little bit speculative for how high up it is on the list. So I don't need to be pushing it any higher because I am in the green with my average at 89 cents. So I'm not going to be adding. I can leave that alone. I think that's fine. And with LRC, I do need to make that yellow there, so I know I need to place that. But yeah, over here, let's just consider the levels. I had a low of 83 cents and a high of 138. We can look over here at Ondo. It looks like my price target where I want to get out is 169. But, I could also see it going a lot higher than that. So, yeah, but got to manage some risk and whatnot. But yeah, support 83 cents. What was the low over here? Sorry, 83 cents. The low was 85.737 cents. But over the past week, it looks like the low was on Tuesday, the 30th. That was at 86.232 cents. And, could we be pulling back to around there? Maybe. What I see here is that 83 cents. I mean, that could still be happening. So yeah, I think I'm probably just going to leave that there. Although I could do like a little micro retracement here, but we are getting pretty close to the levels here at like 90 cents. But yeah, that seems like, confluence of levels with this uptrend that was support for quite some time. Did get some fake out breaks below it. But yeah, coming back to like 83 cents. I think that's fine. I'm not going to adjust it. And then over here, 138. Let's see what's over here. 138. Looks like I got these fib extensions. Looks like I got a couple of them. And yep, 138. So I'll just leave that 169. Got to have fun with the numbers. And now let's go on to the next one, which is going to be Ethereum Classic, ticker symbol ETC, not to be confused with etc. Which is, maybe that's coin, I don't know, but I'm just making a joke, bad joke. Market cap, let's check that out. Ranked at number 40, just above Ondo, with a market cap of just below $3 billion. Okay, and this did go up last week, as I'm sure I know. I did not sell, I did not buy. But let's check out where it was at last week, about 20. Yeah, so very similar to Ondo. $2.8 billion, now around almost 3, 2.9, almost $3 billion there. And so the price for Ethereum Classic, without the drawings, let's see. The closing price from yesterday, Friday, October 3rd, was $19.94. So $19.94. And it looks like I'm down 8%. And the low was probably like 17.97 cents. Let's take a look over here. So the low was hit on Sunday, and that was 17.87 cents. Sorry, $17.87. And my order was not filled at 18. That's too bad. It looks like the low over here, sweep of the lows on the 24th, the low was $16.70, so $18 would have been filled there. But I didn't have an order, so that's fine. No big deal. We did get rejected, or it looks like we're preemptively getting rejected from that 50 SMA. And that's around 2062. Pulling back some, where might we find some support? I'm just going to leave 18, and I'm probably just going to leave that order there, in all honesty, because maybe we do pull back to that. And then, that's it. I don't have to add money to my account. I just leave that alone. So 18, I think, is fine. And so what I'm going to do in the weeklies is do this 18. That's already placed. Just because it wasn't filled, I'm just going to make it white. It's there. And then, resistance around 21, but my average, I think, is 2161. And so that is where I would really, start to trim out of it. I think I have some orders placed at 2161 and, 22. Maybe I have all those orders placed. I imagine so, because they're white. But maybe I don't. I actually should check while I'm here. Just pulling up my little account here. So Ethereum Classic does look like it's doing a little bit of a nosedive, but let's see. Don't want to see. Want to see what my placed orders are. It looks like I have really just 2162 and 2377, which is interesting. So I need to, so I have 2162, which I should do at 2161. So all of these basically, I need to place them. It looks like I slept on that last week. So need to place these orders to trim out, and yep, I need to do that. And so make this yellow so I know. Ondo, not doing anything there, so that's cool. Yep, so I don't need to adjust alerts. They're fine for Ethereum Classic. So good for me to note this. I was stupid about that. But yeah, the next one on the list did add more aggressively to this one. This is Solana, ticker symbol SOL. Let's check out the market cap for Solana. I believe I saw that it is, oh man, XRP is 3, Solana is 6, which means Tether is 4. And maybe Tron is 5, I'm not sure. But yeah, Solana here, ranked number 6, a market cap of $123.7 billion, $123 billion. And we can see that did go up over the past week. Market cap was previously 110. Now it's 123, almost 124. And let's check out the chart here for, let's see, Solana right here. And yep, I mean, could be getting rejected there, but let's not get distracted. The closing price from yesterday, Friday, was 232.98. So 232.98. And I am up 27% in my position. I have been doing the, let's see, 1428 daily buys, and that is to be increasing my position by about $100 a week. That's why I think Solana was previously up here. No, actually, was it up there? Yep, it was up there, but now it's a little bit more notably higher. And so 1428, I think I'm still going to do that. I do think that this could be pulling back some, but I do want to have a bigger Solana position. And if I do 1428 by next week, Solana would be above Ethereum Classic. So moving Solana up, that's good. Moving Ethereum Classic down, that's also good. So I do have this order placed already. I think it ranges from 427 to 428. But I do have slightly more than the dollar amount position. So like I did $100 exactly last week, kind of by coincidence. But if I do a little bit lower than $100, because let's see, like what's 1427 times 1427 times 7 is just shy of 100. And so that's fine. If it ends up being 1427, if it ends up being 1428, let's do that. 1428 times 7. That's right there. But I don't need to be super aggressive. I can like cool it down a little bit. So I'll leave it alone at 14. I'm going to leave it at 1428 there, but it might be actually, yeah, I'll just, there we go. And that is placed. So don't need to do anything there. And yep, I want to talk about the charts. I want to do some other stuff. I guess I should note my average is 183. But yeah, Solana, I saw the low at 193, support at 193, and the high at 260. And so let's just consider those levels as we look at the chart. And so the low from over here, September 26th, a couple weeks ago, I guess a week ago, but on Friday, the low was 190.82. And so that was hit then. 93, we'll have to consider that. Why did I pick 93 exactly? You know, that retracement there, the 382, so that makes sense. It does look like there's a little bit of a downtrend here, which is maybe approximate, but maybe it's something. 93. If it did pull back to 93, you know, my average is below that, so I'd still be fine. I'm not too worried about that, not panicking, nothing like that. So 93, that could be acting as support. We also could, though, find the 50 SMA as support. That's around 213. It looks like 212.82. And yeah, we could also do a little baby Fibonacci retracement here. And, you know, the 50% retracement would be around 214. So yeah, 214 could be support. And let's see, 214. I think what I might do is I might do this as 193, adjust this 74 to 193. And then I'm actually going to adjust this to 214. Current price is around 226. Yeah, I think this could be pulling back to 214. You know, I'm just going to have the order placed. You know, it's already placed. That's no big deal. But I'm going to make this, let's see, I'm not going to dip by that. But if it does go there, you know, I will be doing the dollar cost averaging. I need to adjust the alerts, though. Orders already placed, so no big deal. And this, I need to do that for these. The 18 is placed, though. Excuse me, sorry about that. I might actually pause for a second. All right, just had some coffee and some water, so hopefully my frog in my throat's a little bit better. I think it's still there, though. But yeah, levels to the upside, 260, and then these here don't have orders placed. And so maybe that's actually, you know, what I need to be doing. I don't have orders placed here. And just because I do plan to place them doesn't mean that I should have them as white. You know, I should make them yellow. And so over here, these, excuse me, these levels, those are placed. Those are placed. And over here, LRC also placed. Ondo not placed. But I don't need to worry about that. And then SOL, again, these orders are not placed. But yeah, I mean, 300 and beyond, I think price could be getting there. But 260, why do I think 260? That's going to be corresponding with like the kind of double top here. I think there might be some resistance there, but it could just be a bull flag, and so that would be selling at resistance before it breaks above resistance. Could be. But yeah, let's see. The next one on the list is going to be Avalanche, ticker symbol AVAX. That did move up in the rankings here, and that is because I was buying. But anyways, let's populate the market cap data for Avalanche. And let's see, that is ranked at number 15 with a market cap of $12.6 billion. I imagine this and all of them went up. So then I imagine next week some of these might be down relative to this week, but maybe not overall for the month of October. But yeah, let's see the last week. That was Avalanche at $12.1 billion. Now it's at $12.6 billion. So it came up about $500 million. And let's check out the chart over here. The closing price from yesterday, Friday, October 3rd, was at $31.34. $31.34. And, you know, I'm up 18% in my position. I was doing let's see, about $100 over the course of the week, 14.28 daily dollar cost averaging. But what I'm probably going to do for this week, since I was adding last week, actually, well, you know, I'll think about it. That's going to depend on, you know, it's either I'm going to do 14.28 daily for AVAX or 14.28 daily for Cardano. And, you know, I suppose I could just split the difference between those two. But, yeah, no, I think that, you know, I'd be fine with Cardano overtaking AVAX. So, yeah, I mean, over here, I'm going to make this NA, and I'm going to make this yellow. So I'm not going to be doing daily dollar cost averaging or anything like that with AVAX because I don't think I need to be too aggressive with that one. But if I do get a dip buy on Fartcoin might overtake AVAX, and I'd be a little embarrassed, and might have to be more aggressive with AVAX the following week. Yeah, but yeah, so for now, since I was adding, since it did overtake Cardano, I'm just going to leave it alone. But let's talk about the levels that I was seeing for AVAX, which is 27 and 40. So over here. And so let's look at the chart. We are above the 50-day simple moving average, and that's around 27.65. If I do throw up the drawings there, we did bounce, it looks like, from the low on Friday from last week, the 26th of September, low of 27.07. So nearly hit there. We could be retesting that again, so I think that's fine. We do have this uptrend, but we didn't get exactly to that uptrend. So I think that 27 is a fine level to consider for acting as support. Resistance, I could see 40, and that would be corresponding with, let's see, being, psychological level, $40 divisible by 10, makes sense. And there's a fib extension there, the 1618. So yeah, not going to dive any more into that. I think that's fine, but I do need to be adjusting this so I'm not confusing myself that those orders are not placed for the trims. Although I would plan to trim there if... Actually, no, 54 is placed, I believe. So I'm just going to pull that up so I can just be transparent about that. Reoccurring investments. And so I'm actually just going to cancel that now so I don't have to think about it. End investment. Actually, I might just pause the investment. But so that's NA, so I can make that white here. I don't have to worry about it after this video. That's good. And let's see, what was the order that I do have? The limit order I should have placed here. I thought I had a limit sell at 54. Yes, so that is placed. And so I'm going to make that one 54 there. Wait, so I know that is placed. I at least got that. So that's good. And to be honest, I could just place all of the other orders, but because it's AVAX I just have in my Robinhood account, it's maybe a little bit sketchy, but I don't have like a super huge position, not thousands of dollars or anything like that. So yeah, but let's continue on to the next one, which is going to be Cardano, ticker symbol ADA. Did move down in the rankings because AVAX moved up. But let's check out the market cap for Cardano, ranked at number 10 here, just below Doge. I'm not sure what number 9 is. Maybe it's SHIB. I have no idea. I would think Cardano should be above SHIB. But yeah, this is just shy of $30 billion market cap here. And yeah, so last week it was at 28.1 billion, and now it's at 29.9 billion. The current price for Cardano, or I should say the closing price from Friday, October 3rd, it does look like it was above the 50 SMA, but kind of got rejected there at around 86 cents. The closing price yesterday was 86.59, so 86.59. I suspect we could be seeing a pullback. I am up about 8%. My average is 80 cents. If we do pull back to the 76 level that I have marked there, I'd be going a little bit red, but maybe we don't get to that level. And so I think that doing something like what I have up here would be good, but I'm going to want to make that, 8. And so I'm going to make that yellow. And so, you could also think about this, it's like, well, I'm close to being 0. I'm close to being negative. Maybe I'd want to wait to do the dip buy when I'm actually negative. But maybe I don't actually get to be negative. And so if that's the case, then why? And then I should be doing, this daily dip buy or the daily DCAs. And, the justification of, well, I'm in the green. Well, maybe I should wait until I'm in the red. But, with, AVAX, I was buying, I'm still in the green. And this is, the justification to rotate from AVAX up 18% to, Cardano, where I'm up only 8% rather than 18. So that's kind of my justification there. But yeah, let's consider some of the levels. 76 and $1. Where is it currently trading at? 83.5 cents. Where might this be pulling back to? 76 cents. That does seem to be still valid. Maybe we're doing a little bit of a downtrend, kind of like what I drew on Ethereum, but I'm not going to do it for Cardano just because actually, maybe I will. Maybe I will. It stands out to me, so maybe I'll just do it. So like over here, I'll just do it from the tippy top here. Kind of intersecting with the highs there. And then lows there. So that does seem, like maybe there's something there. Maybe we do get to a lower low, or maybe we pull back to find support around that midpoint, which would be around 79 cents. Like maybe we don't get to 76 cents, but maybe we retest it again. Maybe we'll form a double bottom there. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to worry about it. $1. That would be, kind of getting up to here. I actually saw somebody posting about Cardano. I think this is somebody that Crypto Wendio was posting on X about, it's like Cardano's basically not been above $1 in years. And, yeah, but then looking at it, it's like, no, it was a little bit. And this is actually when I think I started daily DCA about $1, build a position. My average is now below $1. Now, but some people were probably buying up here heavy, thinking, hey, this is going to take off. And now they've just been bag holding. But yeah, this also does kind of look like, maybe a little bit of a cup and handle formation. And so I think that this could be breaking out, getting to $1, but I don't want to trim there. I'd rather be trimming, up in this range, up towards $3. And so $2-3, I don't have orders placed there. So I'm just going to make those yellow. But yeah, I'm not going to adjust anything. I don't have anything to be worried about with that. But what I could do here is I'm not placing an order for AVAX, not worried about that. But I am going to be placing orders for Cardano this week, just kind of rotating there. So I think that's good. I don't think there's too much more to add with Cardano. But yeah, now the next one on the list, a very stupid Fartcoin, ticker symbol Fartcoin. Let's check out the market cap for that meme. One of the funniest of them all. It's just so dumb. It's got to be successful is kind of my thesis. This is ranked number ranked number 113. Not in the top 100, but I think it has potential to get back up to there. I don't know why this is not. There we go. Highlighting. So it's around $623 million market cap. And we can see 623 did go up from last week where it was at 594 million. Now it's at 623 million. Excuse me. And so let's check out the current price, or the closing price, I should say, from yesterday. And I'm actually just going to zoom in here real quick so we can see. It did close on October 3rd at a price of $66.75. And so $66.75. And it looks like I'm down about 6%. And I'm going to place another, oops, you could see what my averages were there. I think. So yeah, don't, I shouldn't have tabbed over there. But you'd have to be looking. You'd have to be looking. And yeah. So, oops, but not a big deal. I'm going to place a limit dip buy, but I'm probably going to be a little bit more conservative with this. Or actually, my average, my average is less than 69 cents. I kind of want my average to be below 69 cents to, the prophecy. The prophecy is there. It's real. And that's, maybe I'll actually include a link in the description of this video to my video on Fartcoin and the prophecy that I see there going from 69 to 420. But yeah, what are the levels that I saw? 60 cents, that was filled, and then 80 cents to the upside. So let's consider those levels, and let's consider the chart. So currently around 62.30, didn't get up to the 50-day SMA. And, I had like the lows over here of like 52 cents. And so I think, do I want my average to be below 69 cents? Yes. But would I rather get a fill at 52 cents? Yes. And so what I might want to do is actually make sure that this is pinpointed. It is apparently, because it's locked. So 52 cents. I think I need to make the dip buy order at 52 cents. And so I need to make that yellow because it's not placed. I do plan on buying there. I need to adjust the alerts. And I actually don't know why the alerts are only the green. It's only the green check, but I guess, may place order if alert goes off. Yeah. But I need to adjust that 52 cents. And since I have that over here, I can actually just delete that. And, hopefully I can get my average down, notably below 69 cents if 52 is tested. But if it's not, then it's fine. But yeah, I don't need to be adding more to Fartcoin just because it's stupid. And then these orders that are in white, those are in fact placed up until 84 cents, but not 420. So I'm going to make that yellow there. And yeah, 80 cents. Why do I see 80 cents acting as resistance? It's probably going to be because I have this Fibonacci retracement to the downside. 80 cents is the 236. So that's why I see that there. And that would also be in profit for me. So I would start to trim there. So that's why I have that there. But, I don't need to spend more time on Fartcoin because it's kind of silly. And also because it did overtake the next one on the list, pushing it down. And so let's talk about that one. Ticker, this is, going to be Chainlink, ticker symbol LINK or Link. Let's check out the market cap for Link. Ranked number 12 with a market cap of about $14.8 billion, or just shy of 14.8. And we can see that here. And the, market cap from last week was, for Chainlink, 14.2. Now it's 14.8. So it did go up, so that is great. And let's check out the price for Link. So the closing price from yesterday getting rejected from below the 50 SMA, which is around 23.4. Now the closing price from yesterday was 22.52, and I'm up about 7% on that. And so this one, I kind of want to add. I kind of want to overtake Fartcoin, but at the same time, maybe that's actually justification for why I should be adding to Link. I mean, to be honest, all of these, I'm pretty sure, are right around the same position size. But what is maybe something interesting that I could do is, I think that I'm fine to just kind of sit on the sidelines for Link. Although if I'm adding to Aave on the daily, that kind of makes me think I want to add to Link, because then I could be overtaking Fartcoin, and that's good. And I do like it if I'm adding to Litecoin. It does get kind of annoying doing so many very small daily DCAs. So yeah, to be honest, I think I'm going to chill. Maybe I want to do a limit dip buy though for Link. And maybe that gets filled. And that would just probably be a $7 limit dip buy. So I'll consider that. let's consider the levels. I was talking about 20 and I was talking about 30. And so let's just come over here to think about those levels. And I need to place an order for Fartcoin, so I need to make that yellow. And Cardano, I also need to place an order there, so I need to make that yellow. And let's see, Solana, that's already placed. So yeah, that's good. Anyways, Link 20, let's consider that. Let's pull up the levels here. Let's see, 21. What was the lows over here? So from Thursday, September 25th, which was more than a week ago, the lows were, right around 20. And so maybe we could be pulling back to around 20. So yeah, I think that with Link, I might do actually a limit dip buy at 20. And so I need to place that. And so I'm going to just copy this here. It's not going to be super crazy. Like I said, it's just going to be like if I were to be doing a daily dollar DCA. And so that would be, $7. And I will do, I think that would be exactly 7, but maybe not. And so, but I'll do that. I think it should be about 7 for the dip buy at 20 for Chainlink, and then levels to the upside 30. That's just going to be like a psychological level. Up here also does correspond with like the tops here. So yeah, 30. I'm going to leave that alone. Don't need to adjust the alerts, but I do need to place that order. And I should note that I don't have a limit sell placed at 50. So I should make that yellow. And, then alerts and or orders not placed yellow there. So good for me to do that. And let's then continue on with the list. The next one is going to be Litecoin, ticker symbol LTC. Did not move up or down in the list, so that's good. I have been doing daily dollar DCAs with Litecoin though. But yeah, let's get over to CoinMarketCap to see what the market cap is. Ranked number 19. It looks like it's just shy of 9 billion. Let's copy it here. So it is $9 billion. And we can see that here. And wow, exactly. Pretty funny. It would have been 8.999 billion. But let's see, from last week, it was, I'm looking at Litecoin, 8 billion. So market cap went up by $8 billion. So pretty impressive. And this is one that, I remember looking at the chart over the past week being like, wow, Litecoin's really taken off. Let's go. But I'm not chasing or anything, just doing that daily dollar DCA. And so let's see where the price is with Litecoin. I think this is going to be an impressive chart. Over the past week, yeah, broke above that 50 SMA, now consolidating above it, and that is, I should note, at 113.36, but the closing price from yesterday was above that at 120.65, so 120.65, and yep, that did go up. I am up about 19% in my position. I am going to continue to do the daily dollar DCA. And the reason for that is because I'm pretty sure that my Pepe and Trump positions are negative more than 10%. And so as I add to those, I'm also going to be adding to XRP, Aave, and Litecoin because I want to keep those above, Pepe and Trump, because those are meme coins. They're kind of silly, not as much utility as something like Litecoin acting as the silver to Bitcoin's gold. And so up 19%. My average is 101.04, and current price is right around 118. Where could we be pulling back to? I could see us coming back to, that moving average there around 113. And actually, what did I say as the dip level? 99. And so 99 and 140. So let's consider those levels. Let's see, 99. This is 113. So I actually don't think it would be coming down to 99, but that would be like the level that I would consider, adding at. And I actually could see the level being, 114, maybe pierce that moving average, which is actually closer to 113, and maybe like 112.50, like the 50% retracement, but let's round that up to 113 in case, we don't get a fill. But I could definitely see some like robust support around 107. So maybe I actually want to add some more levels here. I could see, let's see, the dip by 112, but also coming down to like 107, right around here. Yeah, so what I might do is I'm going to add a 107, and maybe I should do it like this, 99, and then 107, 107. And so I'm going to make those red because I'm not going to place orders, but I think that those are levels that might be, worth noting. And then over here, since I do have the 99 and 107, I would make that be around 113. And so with that being said, I am going to need to adjust the alerts. And so I got that 113 there. And the alerts, I'm really just focusing on the levels here, not everything over here. But 140, why could I see it getting up to 140? That's going to be kind of just like the consolidation tops over here around 140. And so I'm just going to leave that. But let's consider orders. Yep, I am going to be placing daily dollar DCAs. Why do I have it yellow here for link? Did I say I was going to place an order? Oh yeah, a dip buy level. So yeah, I would do that, but not getting too crazy with it or anything. And all these levels over here, the yellows, I am going to make them yellow because I don't have orders placed there to trim out of my position. But eventually that is something I will want to do when I get out of like the buying phase. But yeah, Litecoin, let's see, 113. I do. Oh, no, this is not a dip buy. This is just a daily dollar DCA. So yeah, I'm just going to keep doing that. So no problem there. And very similar is going to be Aave, ticker symbol AAVE. Let's check out the market cap for Aave, ranked at number 31 with a market cap of about $4.28 billion. So let's just populate that over here. And did go up from last week. It was at about $4 billion. Now it's $4.287 billion. Definitely going up there. Let's check out the chart. And if I do remove those drawings, we can see that we are very clearly below that 50 SMA. And that is around $301.50. The close from yesterday, Friday, October 3rd, was at 290.79. So let's do 290.79. I'm up about 4% with my average at 278.57. Like I said, I'm just going to continue to do the daily $1 DCA. So Litecoin and Aave stay above Pepe and Trump effectively. And so I think that's good. And let's see, what were the levels that I had? 250 and 460. So let's come over here to look at them, 250 and 460. What was the low over here from September 22nd? That was around 250.56. So I think that's probably fine to keep as, a dip level for being alerted and whatnot. So I think that's fine. If I do pull up the drawings, 250, yeah, I think that's fine. But maybe we don't get that low. And maybe this could be, just going down to like 269, So maybe what I want to do is, just add a 269, like if in case we don't go to the 250, and then I'm going to make that, let's see, red, and these other ones I'm going to make yellow because I don't have the orders placed for them. And so, yeah, let's see the 460 to the upside. Where did I get that for Aave? That will be kind of corresponding with this, I imagine 460. And let's see, that is, yeah, I mean, that's just a fib extension. Looks like from the bear market low to the recent high to the pullback here. And so, yeah, 460, I think that is fine to leave as is. So I don't have to adjust the alerts, don't have to adjust the orders. I do have an order placed. And that is, white over here because that is, there. But yeah, let's check out the next one on the list, which is going to be XRP, ticker symbol XRP. Did go up in the rankings because I have been, a little bit more aggressive with my daily DCAs on XRP than I have with Pepe and Trump. So that's why it's moved up. But yeah, let's check out the market cap, which I believe, I said earlier was ranked number 3. So Tether is below it now. And that's a market cap of 177 billion. I imagine this did go up over the past week, although I don't think XRP was as great of a performer as the other ones, but maybe I'm mistaken about that. Last week, XRP was 166.3 billion. Now it's 177.1 billion, so looking good. And if we check out the chart over here, we can see that XRP's close from yesterday, Friday, was above, and we are now testing that 50 SMA around 294. But yesterday's close does look like it was a little doji there. Big wick to the upside and downside, and that suggests that we're going to be getting a little bit of a reversal, and that's what we're seeing, so no big deal. But yesterday's close was at 304.17, so 304.17. It looks like I'm up about 19% in my position with my average at 255. And, what I want to be doing for this week is continuing to DCA to stay above Pepe and Trump. And so in order to do that, I just have to do a dollar DCA. But I actually want XRP to overtake Aave and Litecoin. And so in order to do that, this DCA is just going to be $2. So very casual. I do need to adjust that. So I'm going to make that yellow. So I know I need to adjust that. But let's see about the levels 250 and 450. Let's check over here. Do I want to adjust them? Do anything like that? I don't know. And so 250, it's kind of odd, 250 and 250. What was the low over here? This was, let's see, 269, pretty funny, exactly, $2.69, the low on September 22nd, which was a Monday. And I think 269 should actually maybe be considered a level there. But yeah, 264, I was thinking maybe we break below it. So 250, I think that's a little greedy. What's my average? 255. I think that's probably why I have a 250. So what I probably want to do is like maybe it retests that low, and that'd be like 269. And so I'd adjust this to 269. Wouldn't necessarily buy that, but that means I need to adjust my alerts here, although I probably do have an alert for 269 just because it's funny. But then 250, that is a level that, I would consider buying at, but I don't have any orders placed. So orders, it's fine. 250 though, I'd say, I'd consider it. Considering placing orders, so that would be orange. And then the 5, 550, and 6, I don't have orders placed to sell, so I would want to make those yellow just so they stand out. I know I need to be paying attention to them. But 450 is a level. And do I have an order placed to sell there? And would I sell there? So with XRP, 450, to be honest, I'd consider selling there. I don't have an order placed. But if I get the alert, then, I would a place order if alert goes off. And so this is where I actually probably want to bring back this alert symbol. I'll copy it up here so I can paste it here without changing the background. And are there other ones that kind of stand out to me? No, I mean, XRP, I would trim there. So if the alert goes off, may place order if alert goes off. So I am utilizing that key there, the full key, so that is good. But yeah, that would be a new all-time high, so that's something to consider. But I think it could be going to higher highs. But yeah, with that being said, let's go on to, let's see, alerts. I need to adjust the order, so I need to do that there. But yeah, the next one on the list is going to be Pepe, ticker symbol PEPE. And let's check out the market cap for Pepe. Going to be ranked number 32 with a market cap of $4 billion. Pretty crazy that, just a funny little meme coin that's on Ethereum, is a token on Ethereum, has such a big market cap. But, it's meme culture for you. There's definitely value in that. And if you don't see it, that's fine. Yeah, it does look like it's getting rejected from that 50 SMA, which is around 4 zeros and a 1021. Definitely getting a rejection there. And let's see what the closing price was, which was just below. Had opened at the 50 SMA, but now it's below and closed below yesterday on October 3rd at a price of 401015. So this is price 1, 2, 3, 4, 401015. Down about 26%. And so that's exactly why I'm going to continue to do the daily dollar DCA to keep this, to be adding while I am so negative there, and that's fine. The levels, 5 zeros and a 9 and a 4 zeros and a 13. And so let's check those out. Do I want to update them? And let's see, the low over here on Thursday, September 25th was 5 zeros and a 9. So crazy. Maybe we could retest that again. So I think that's a valid level to have an alert on. And so I'm going to leave that alone. And then the 13, let's see, it's a level that I would not trim at. But let's look at the drawings here to... Did I delete my... this is on capital.com. This is the wrong Pepe. So I am actually going to delete this, excuse me, and I'm actually going to have to update the average. And then to this, I'm going to have to add Pepe USD, and not capital.com, but Coinbase. And actually, it's possible that some of the ones that I have gone over were not Coinbase, so I'm just going to check them. Should be Coinbase. Binance for Doge, that should be right. Coinbase. Ethereum Classic Coinbase. Solana, AVAX, Cardano, all of these are Coinbase. This should be Kraken for Fartcoin, Link Coinbase, Lite Coinbase. I should have paused this, I'm sorry. But yep, Coinbase, we haven't gotten that far. We're on XRP. So actually, we're not on XRP. I just did XRP. We are now on Pepe, which is on Coinbase. And so I'm just going to move this below XRP. And yep, we can look at this. And I am going to need to get that adjusted close, which was at 10:11. Not what I have over here, 10:15. So there we go. And yep, still down negative 26%, so no big deal. And let's just see, 9, I'm going to leave that alone. The 13, though, let's pull up those drawings and see, why do I pick 13? 4013. It's basically, it was the high here. So I could see that as being some temporary resistance. And also with this downtrend, that's going to kind of correspond with right around, 4 zeros and a 1-3. So I think that's fine. It levels to the upside at 1.6. And that's, I imagine, just because my average is 1.4. So I would trim at those levels. 1, 6, and 4 zeros and a 2. But I don't have orders placed, so I'm going to make those yellow. And yep, I'm going to leave that alone. Don't need to adjust anything with Pepe. I also should, though, scroll up so you guys can see all those behind Ed there, above his head. And so let's come back over here to look at the official Trump coin, which is ticker symbol TRUMP, or Trump. And the market cap for Trump coin is ranked number 66 with a market cap of $1.5 billion. And we can put that number over here and see that it did go up last week. It had a market cap about 1.51 billion. Now it's 1.529 billion. And yeah, so the upside for Trump is probably not going to be that impressive over here. Yeah, not really looking too exciting, but the closing price from Friday, October 3rd, was at $7.86. So I'll put that in there, down 29%. So again, going to be doing that daily dollar DCA while I'm down more than negative 10% on those. And we can also see, looking at the chart, it's notably below that 50 SMA, which is around 837. So once it does get above 837, or whatever that moving average is, the 50-day SMA, then, I think it could really start to take off. But let's, consider the levels that I suggested: 6.9 to the downside and 17 to the upside. And so just over here, let's see there. Trump, let's see, what was the low over here on Monday, September 22nd? That was 6.88. Yeah, I mean, maybe 6.9 would get filled. And then if that was to get filled, then maybe I'd want to have, I'm not going to have a limit dip buy or anything because it's stupid. I'm just going to do the daily DCA. I think that's fine. And I don't need to be getting more aggressive because it's dumb. But let's consider 17 to the upside. That is really just going to correspond with this fib extension. So this is from the low here up to this high. And then we can actually bring this even lower, since this did come down to, let's see, whatever that is. Or it doesn't have to be exact. But yeah, that's actually 16, not 17. And that corresponds with the highs here. So I might actually want to adjust this to 16 bucks. And I don't have an order placed there. It's possible I do, though. I might just want to check. Trump, everything's looking red. Seeing this down. Daily buys, I don't think I have a limit sell. So, yep. No limit sell, so I'm probably just going to want to make that yellow because I do need to adjust it. And I don't have an order placed there, and I'm not going to worry about it until, price actually gets up there. But alerts, and so maybe that's, something like this. Maybe I consider it. Yep, because it's yellow, so, I would consider that. So I need to do it like this and make all of these yellow just levels to the upside. And let's see, the all-time high over here was about 49.26. And so I think that, I could probably do another trim around, 50. And then, of course, I got to add, for good measure, 69. So yeah, those are all, don't have any orders placed, but trimming out at those. And let's now come back over here to look at Pudgy Penguins, ticker symbol PENGU, or PENGU. And we can see the market cap for this one is ranked number 56 with a market cap of $1.86 billion. And let's just populate that over here. Did go up over the past week. It had a market cap of, let's see, 1.77 billion. Now it's at 1.859 billion. And let's check out the price action over here. Did get rejected from that 50 SMA around 3.2 cents. Closing yesterday on Friday, October 3rd. At, let's see, 3.192 cents, 3.192, oops. And, I'm up about 1% my position. And since I'm not down 1% my position, or not down 10%, I might just to kind of keep my life a little bit easier. Oh, and AVAX, that's already placed, so that I don't need to worry about that. But I'm going to do this here, and that's not placed, so I need to make it yellow. But yeah, my average is around 3.2 cents, right around where we're currently at. So if it does start to dip lower, it's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. I did add last week, and it just keeps things a little bit easier with me not doing so many daily DCAs to update my spreadsheets every day, too much work there. And yeah, so I think that's fine, but let's actually consider some of the levels over here. Maybe I'd want to do a limit dip buy with PENGU. And so over here I have the level at 2.5 cents and a level to the upside about 5 cents, which I don't have any orders placed on this. So I might make that yellow, make these yellow. But yeah, then considering 2.5 cents, what were the lows over here? So from Friday, September 26th, the low was 2.623 cents. And if I do pull this up here, we do have, lows around 2.5 cents. But maybe we don't get there. So maybe what I want to do is actually place a limit buy order. The low here is 2.623 cents. You could probably see where I'm going with this. I just round that up a little bit to 2.69, and I'll just move that over. That is one that I will place a limit dip buy. Haven't placed it yet, so I need to do that. And so I need to make this yellow. And I guess I will add 2.5 over here. And that is, I'm not going to do anything with that. But I will be a little OCD and make that 1 comma white. And let's see. So yeah, 2.69. And so I'm thinking I'll do like same with, Chainlink. I just do a $7 dip buy. So I think that's actually good. I like that. I'm feeling okay about that. At 2.69 cents, get my average down. But if it doesn't get filled, it's fine. I just got money in my account, no big deal. And then let's consider, levels to the upside. 5 cents, that's just looking at the chart. I could see it going up to 5 cents, sure. And then higher, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm not going to spend more time on that. Although, yeah, I might actually adjust this downtrend, because this is actually pretty cool. Technical analysis for the win here, trading in this downtrending channel. So it's at the top, and sure, it pierces the top, it pierces the bottom, but you get fills there. And so, you could be selling up here, buying down here, selling up here, buying down here, selling up here, although that wouldn't have, gotten filled at the thick line, barely at the thin line. And then nearly getting to the thin line down here, then breaking above, retesting the thin line, 10%, and then going higher, but not high enough. And actually here, higher highs, kind of flat highs here in the RSI. So that's like weak bearish divergence. And then pulling back to the 50% there, bouncing above to that 50-day SMA. Now retesting the top of the channel. Eventually it will be acting as support. Maybe that's now, maybe not just yet. So anyways, just wanted to go over that because I think that's cool. But we will come back over here to now talk about Arbitrum, ticker symbol ARB, not to be confused with Arby's. It did overtake Uniswap, so I think that's awesome because I've been doing this daily DCA, but I might stop doing the daily DCA and I might just do a dip buy like PENGU. But let's look at the market cap first and come over here. Arbitrum ranked number 48 at $2.3 billion market cap. And we can see that did go up from last week. The market cap was $2.28 billion. And now it's 2.38. So let's see, actually 2.28. Yes. Now it's 2.3. So it didn't really go up that much. As you know, I'm tired. Almost getting a 2-hour long video, so I'm going to be ending this pretty soon. But yeah, Arbitrum over here, below the 50 SMA, which is around 49 cents, and did close yesterday, October 3rd, at a price of 45.03 cents. So 45.03, and I'm down about 8%. And so this one, yeah, I mean, I think that I'm not down 10%. So what I might want to do is just do, like, with PENGU, because I might be negative, but I'm not down 10%. And so where could I see this dipping to? We're down at 42. Maybe actually, what is my average? Let's see. I'm just going to fudge this a little bit just so I can see if this was at 42 cents. So that's below 10%. So yeah, I would just do a dip buy at 42, which is around where we're at. And so what did I have at 39? Actually, maybe, 39, let's consider that. 39, that would be putting in a lower low. The low over here was, and this was on Thursday, September 25th, the low was 39.92 cents. So it did not get 39 cents there. So maybe what I want to do is actually adjust this to include over here, 39 cents. But I would not place an order there. And I should denote this as being yellow because I don't have an order placed there. But this should be 42 cents. Place that as a limit dip buy. And I need to place that order. And actually, one thing, the alerts not placed, but considering placing orders. Trump. Oh, yes. 16. No, that's, I thought I had something that was orange over here. No, I think it's just over here. So anyways, got that at 42. And so, yeah, I'd place that, not worry about it. And then like $1, that's just going to be kind of, obvious, psychological. Around here, 95 cents, 96 cents. But yeah, so 42, I'll place a limit dip buy. If that gets filled, great. If it does not, that's fine too. But yeah, just $7. And then I don't have to have the daily DCAs for PENGU or Arbitrum. So that just makes my bookkeeping a little bit easier. But yeah, with that being said, let's go on to the next one on the list, the last one on the list, which is going to be Uniswap, ticker symbol UNI or UNI, and the market cap for Uniswap. Let's check it out over here. It is ranked number 28 with a market cap of right around $5 billion. And we can populate that right here. And it did go up from last week when it was at 4.768 billion. Now it's at $5.004 billion. So looking good there. And we can see with the chart over here that below the 50 SMA, which is around 9.356, in the close from yesterday, October 3rd, was at a price of 8.177. So 8.177 right there. I'm down about 19%. And so that would make me think that I should be doing a daily dollar cost average with this one. Since I'm removing 2 daily DCAs here, I will then consider doing that. But maybe, let's look at some of the chart here. Some of the levels. Let's see. What did I have for the low? 750. Okay, so let's just consider that. 750, the low from September 25th, Thursday, was 728, so 750 would have been filled. Maybe we do pull back to that. Maybe we do test it. So maybe this could actually be another one where it's like, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. And so 750, yeah, this could also go lower though. It could go to like 621. But, And if it does go lower, then yeah, I think that I should probably just do a $1 daily DCA. Although, then yeah, if Uni does overtake Arbitrum or PENGU, that's totally fine. So I'll just do $1 there, color that yellow. I do think that 750 is a level it could be retesting, so I will consider that. But I also am going to want to add over here, let's see, 621, or let's round that up to like 650. If I have 750, let's just round this up to 650. And so I could see 650 as a level to be paying attention to. And so I might make that red because I'm not going to place an order there. And these other ones, since they don't have orders placed, I am going to make them yellow. And actually, I should note, what is my average? 10. And so, yeah, getting up to like 18, 20, that'd be some nice profit. And so the 16 here, I should note that I don't have an order placed there. At least I don't think so. And so I should make that yellow. That's where I'd want to kind of trim out. Why did I pick 16 though? Oh, we can see this Fibonacci up there. And I might actually want to lower that some to maybe like 15. So I'd probably want to adjust that to 15. I will want to adjust the alerts. And with the alerts, I would then, because that's yellow, wanted to do that. And I also should do that for PENGU because the 5 cents there, I'd want to move stuff around. And yeah, but orders, I will place an order on this one. So I need to do that. I need to make that yellow. And then Arbitrum and PENGU, I need to also make those yellow because I need to adjust them. But yeah, I mean, coming back to this, that is pretty much all that I've got going on. That's the plan for the week. Some I don't need to adjust the daily dip buys that are in white, or the daily DCAs or dip buys like over here, but some of them I do. Those are in yellow. And so I will be doing that. But then let's check out the percent P&L, see how this is looking. So from last week, it was down kind of sharp. I do have a number that look like they are negative, which is going to include, looks like Trump Coin, Pepe, what's the RLC, of course. Also Uniswap, of course, I'm getting more aggressive with that. Arbitrum, and it looks like XRP. And let's see, what's that green one? That's going to be Ethereum Classic. And then just, above the 0 is PENGU, you can see right there. And then above that, we've got Aave. We've got, I believe that's Chainlink. Is that right? And then, oh, actually, what's this one? No, yep, that's Uniswap. And then up here, that is Avalanche. Then we also have, what is the kind of star one that's there? That looks like, that's XRP. What's down here as having the cross? Is that Litecoin? I don't know. It's just like, what's this right here? That's XRP up there. Okay, so what's down here? LRC. What's LRC look like? That's white with the blue diamond. Okay, but what's the one with the white X there? Fartcoin. Okay, that's a yellow. That's yellow. It's not white. Fartcoin, of course. And then these other ones, of course, Ethereum is performing the best, up 69%. And then, no, sorry, is that up 69%? Up, yeah, 69%. And then Dogecoin is up 42%. Right here, the bronze. And yep, so feeling good. I also got Solana, Bitcoin down here. Anyways, that is great. That is exciting. I'm just going to pull back to the theses, and I will pull back to this poll. Let's actually see if anybody has participated in it yet. Nobody's participated in it yet, so make sure you do vote in the poll. And with that being said, as always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, Crypto Corner Sat Stackers, every single Saturday for the year of 2025 moving forward. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Maybe I'll be doing it live, so let me know. But yeah, have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.